For the 49ers offseason and contract talks, all the focus is on Brock Purdy and what that deal is going to be. But I do think it is important to note all of the potential contracts that could be in negotiation this offseason. Clearly, we have hinted at George Kittle needing a contract extension as he's heading into the final year of his deal. Debo Samuel and his contract, he has no guaranteed money left on his deal. And so those are the things that we're looking for and kind of keeping us alert to players who might be potentially entering contract negotiations this offseason with the 49ers. And so there's one player that I want to highlight that I'm not sure that anyone has really thought about. And it's going to be interesting to see what your guys' response is. But before we get into that, let's talk about the trends that we have been able to identify in these contract talks for, I think, the average fan who doesn't really think of the business side of football. But it's been abundantly clear that the business side of football is hand glove fit for the offseason. It's just a part of every offseason that we have to incorporate into the roster building conversation, the draft conversation, and how you fill these holes if you don't re-sign these guys or you trade them. So those are things that we have to talk about. So a name that I'm not sure that anyone is really discussing is Colton McCoy. And the reason why I'm saying this, and I haven't thought about it either, until that I just noticed yesterday that he signed with Range Sports. Range Sports also reps Brock Purdy. And so Range Sports will be executing contract negotiations with the San Francisco 49ers. And the reason why I'm bringing up Colton McCoy's name is because if you look at his contract, he is heading into the final year of his deal in 2025. And when you look at the deal that he signed, the 2-year, $4.6 million deal, whether you agree or not, I know most 49er fans, they don't like Colton McCoy. And it is what it is. But I can, with full confidence, say that he has vastly outperformed this contract. This contract doesn't even rank as a starter contract. This is basically like a swing tackle contract, but Colton McCoy has started the last 2 seasons in a row. And if he is going to be a starter yet again for the San Francisco 49ers, if I'm Colton and I'm his representation, we're saying we're vastly underpaid. We have proven that we are capable starter in this league, regardless of what fans think. And it is time for us to get a payday. Now, I know 49er fans are going to cringe at that notion. I can already see the comments piling up, but it is the reality of the business of the NFL, and it is currently where we are at. Let's take a look at some of the metrics that we have for Colton McCoy. I'll try to get this a little bit bigger so you can see a little bit better. But when you look at what he was able to do in 2024, he logged 1,062 snaps. Pass blocking snaps, 645. You can see heavily outweighed run blocking. His grades, pretty average, not terrible. I don't think it matches the perception of the fan base. He gave up 2 sacks according to PFF. He gave up 6 quarterback hits and 28 quarterback hurries with 36 quarterback pressures. Now, in these 2 categories, I think it ranks kind of in the lower portion of the league, but giving up 2 sacks is a huge improvement from last season when he gave up 9, and you can see how these numbers have been almost cut in half from what he did last year to this year. And I have been someone who has said that Colton McCoy has improved very much from last year. Now, he still might be, a mid-tier tackle in this league, but that doesn't mean he hasn't improved. He has absolutely improved. These numbers bear that out. But again, you guys know me. I watch the tape. I watch the offensive line with a fine-tooth comb, and I am looking for those improvements. And I had pointed out even in the preseason how Colton McKivitz had made technical adjustments to his game that helped him improve. So these numbers bear out that he has improved. And so the question becomes, do the 49ers pay him market value for what it would be to be a starting tackle in this league? That is going to be an interesting conversation. Or do the 49ers look to the draft? Because keep in mind, Jalen Moore is also a unrestricted free agent along with Aaron Banks. So the 49ers, they don't really have a backup plan, at least currently on the roster when it comes to the tackle position. So I don't know how they're going to handle this. But I do think it is important to kind of be alert to, because I think, when it comes to the roster construction conversation, being a content creator, we look at all the different elements. I'm heavy into the draft. We're going to be looking at free agency. We're going to be looking at the roster in its totality. And this is one of those things where it's like we have to project out and kind of see through the weeds of what could potentially happen. And one of the things that I'm seeing is the trends are pointing towards Colton McKivitz probably wanting a new deal. And like I said, it makes sense to me. He has vastly outperformed his 2-year, $4.6 million deal. That is backup money. And he has been a starter for 2 years. And he has, as you can see, just by the sheer numbers alone, not even pulling up any tape references, that he has improved. So what does that mean? What do the 49ers do here? Because they are already in contract negotiations with Brock Purdy. That is the marquee negotiation. We've also hinted at George Kittle, like we said, in that same boat, that same situation where he only has 1 year left on his deal. And that is a spot where these NFL players do not like to be, and especially when you are of caliber of George Kittle. I mean, listen, we've had some conversations amongst this fan base talking about, should the 49ers trade for Max Crosby? Well, the whole reason that is even a conversation that is being entertained is because he has 2 years left on his deal with zero guaranteed money, which from Max Crosby's perspective, he isn't playing without guaranteed money on his deal. It's the same thing that happened with Trent Williams this past offseason. He had multiple years left on his deal, zero guaranteed money. Christian McCaffrey had time left on his contract, zero guaranteed money. Both of them got re-upped. So that's just like, these are the trends of off-season contract negotiations. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm an expert at this. I just follow the trends. I just identify the trends and I point them out. So this is the trend that we are noticing, is that I noticed that they had a big announcement on Range Sports that they had signed Colton McKivitz, and that instantly was like, all right, well, let me go check his SPO track. And that's right. He is heading into the final year of his deal. And that puts him in that category of players who are like, hey man, I don't want to play with just 1 year left on my deal. And especially for a guy who's 29 years old, he's looking to get paid. So what do the 49ers do here? I'm really curious to hear what your guys' response is going to be, because keep in mind, if they opt to trade him, not pay him, I don't know how it would all work out, but what is the backup plan? Who do they turn to? Who's going to play tackle? I don't think Dominic Pooney is going to play tackle. He is an interior offensive lineman, in my opinion. So what do they do there? Very, very interesting situation. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.